What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Recently the people over at TT Artisans were kind enough to send me over this little lens, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing and talking about it. And for those of you who are curious, this is the 7.5mm f2 lens by TT Artisans. It's a super dope little lens and I'm going to be reviewing it and talking a little bit about it. I recently did some photos with it on my Instagram. The photos I recently uploaded that are very wide angle were actually shot with this lens. So if you guys are interested in that kind of look, which is very in right now, make sure you stick around for the entire video so you don't miss out on what I have to say about this lens and these types of lenses. So in today's video, I'm basically just going to be reviewing this lens and talking a little bit about it, what I like, what I don't like, and everything in between. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to stick around for the entire video so you guys don't miss out. But as always, before we start this video, make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe. It really does help this channel grow. I appreciate every single one of you that does. And while you're at it, go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section below. It helps the algorithm push the video to brand new viewers, which is always appreciated as well. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and just dive right into this lens, which is a really cool lens, and honestly one of my new favorite lenses to play around with. As you guys can see, this lens is really small. I don't know if you guys can pick, I don't know if autofocus is working. There you go. It's really small. So this is actually a crop size sensor lens. So although it is a crop sensor lens and meant for cameras that have crop sensors like my Sony a6400 that I'm using to film this, it also works with a full frame camera, except when it's on a full frame, instead of giving you like a wide aspect ratio, it'll give you more like a fisheye lens effect. So it'll have like some borders on it and be like extra warped. So it is cool that it works on both, but if you guys want like a full coverage type of look, then you will need a crop sensor camera. But it is also capable of working with a full frame sensor, which I thought was pretty cool. Let's go ahead and just dive into it and talk about this lens and what I like and what I don't like about it. So the first thing about this lens is its price point, which is absolutely ridiculous. This lens is only $170. Yeah, $170. It is a super affordable lens, and when you hold this thing, you would not expect this to cost $170. Like, this has a very premium look, has a very premium feel. It feels hefty. This weighs heavier than a lot of my lenses that are actually bigger than this, and I don't know why, but it's just, it has a very premium look and a premium feel to it. Maybe the size doesn't look that premium because people always associate bigger lenses with being more expensive, but everything else just has like a very premium feel to it. It kind of has like a vintage feel to it too because it's like a manual lens, but for $170, you would not think that this is a lens you would be getting. You would probably expect like a cheap plastic lens, not a solid metal, very well constructed lens, which is exactly what you get when you purchase this lens. It has a very good entry point for those of you who want to kind of experiment with the wide angle look, and you can get this lens for a lot of different mounting systems. I'm not exactly quite sure, but I do know that they make them for Sony and for Fuji. I'll have to go ahead and check and leave it on the screen what mounts they have, but they for sure make it for Fuji and Sony. So if you guys are in the market for a wide angle lens and you really want to get that cool look that I recently shot, this is a really good choice because it's very affordable. And even if you end up not really liking the look, you didn't really waste that much money anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. This lens is very affordable. It's very premium feeling for what you get, and I think it has a really cool look. So let's go ahead and talk about how it actually feels on the hand and how it actually feels being a manual lens. So let's talk about the build quality, because for $170, I was not expecting this lens to be this premium feeling. This has a full metal body and it has very good feel to it. It has like a matte finish to it, so it kind of, you get a little bit more grip on it when you're holding it, which is nice because even though it is a cheap lens, you probably don't want to feel like you're going to drop this lens. If you guys take a look at it, it has that fisheye lens that kind of bulges at the end, which makes me a little worried about it because there's no way I can cover it with any filters or anything, which I'll get to a little bit later in the video. But the build quality for this thing definitely gets a solid 10 for me. It is probably one of my more premium feeling lenses, even though I have lenses that are like 5 times the price of this. For $170, I am literally blown away at how well this lens is made. It has a very hefty feel to it, which makes it just feel premium in the hand. It feels really premium on your body, and it just feels very premium overall because it is a fully metal build. It has really good quality glass to it. I was shooting with it and the photos I got from it were super sharp, even though I was shooting wide open at f2. For $170, I was just kind of blown away at how well the quality of it is. The build quality of the lens itself and the lens hood are fully metal, so I mean, for $170, I was not expecting that at all, but I have to say I'm pretty satisfied with the build quality. I think it's a very well built lens. I think it'll last me a very long time. I think for $170 they outdid themselves. So shout out to TT Artisans for making this lens this premium feeling for $170. If I handed this to you, you probably would not guess that it was that cheap. So let's talk about functionality, because obviously that's probably one of the most important things about a lens if you're trying to get one, and it is how functional it is. So like I mentioned earlier, this lens is fully manual focus, which means that both the aperture and the focus ring are on the lens itself, and you have to focus and change your aperture on the lens, not on your body. So that might slow you down a little bit, and it might be a little bit of a learning curve if you're used to fully autofocus lenses. But if you have shot manual in the past, then this will be no surprise to you whatsoever. So because the aperture is on the lens itself, let's go ahead and talk about that first. The aperture ring itself actually has little stops on it. You can't hear them. They're not very audible. Because it has clicks on it, you'll know when you reach the next aperture, which is really, really nice and very convenient. I think it has a very solid feel to it. Again, it's very premium feel. You have to really kind of force it, which I personally like. I know some people don't like lenses that you have to put a little bit of force into to change the actual settings of it. Some people like lenses that you can change with like just your pinky on it. This you definitely have to grip and fully twist in order for it to start changing, which I appreciate, because when I'm holding my lens, I don't want anything to accidentally change without me wanting it to change. So because these require a little bit of force to move, I think that's a positive on my end. Some people may not like that. Some people may. I am one of those people that does like it. For the focus ring on this lens, you do have to give it a little bit of force in order to change, and it does have all the markings and stuff on it. So if you are shooting portrait work, you're probably gonna need to focus a little bit more than if you are shooting landscape, because I think after 3 feet, it's considered infinity. So after 3 feet, everything will be in focus. If you're shooting landscape, you'll probably never have to worry about focusing. If you're shooting portrait work, which probably will require you to be a little bit closer to people because it's such a wide field of view, then you will have to focus, and you'll have to change your focus in between shots most likely. When you're shooting manual focus, the only downside of it is it does slow you down a little bit. If you're one of those portrait shooters that just kind of fires off rapid fire, then this will slow you down and it may not be as fun for you to use. But if you're like me and you shoot slow anyways, this really isn't that much of a game changer. If anything, I like that it slows me down because it makes sure that every photo I'm taking is a photo that I'm actually going to like. I'm not going to just unnecessarily take a million photos only for 5 of them to turn out. I really enjoyed using it, even though it was a manual focus lens. This is my only manual focus lens I have, but after using this, I think I'm probably going to pick up some more manual focus lenses, because I honestly was not that affected by it, and I really enjoyed the quality and the look of the photos. So let's talk about functionality in terms of the actual lens itself. So if you guys know my work, you know that I like using filters on my lenses. You know that a lot of my dreamy look comes from the filters that I use. However, because of the design of this lens, as you guys can see, it has that like bulge. Oh, there we go. It has that like bulging glass element at the end because it is a fisheye. Because of that, I can't use any of my lens filters with this lens, which is kind of a bummer. I don't know if there are any attachments that you can get for lenses like this that allow you to adapt your normal filters to it. If there are, someone let me know in the comments below. As of right now, I don't know of any lens attachments that let you attach filters to fisheye style lenses. So that was kind of a bummer to me, because I really like trying to create that dreamy effect in camera with filters, which means that I probably won't be able to do that. That's probably the only downside I don't like about this style of lens, is that I can't really use my filters with it, which kind of sucks. But one cool thing about this lens is it does come with an ND filter included, and the way that they attach it is through the back. So on the back, there's like this little compartment. I don't know if you guys can see it. And on the back, there's this little compartment where the ND filter that comes with this lens actually attaches to. It's an ND 1000, so it's probably meant for like landscape photography. And you can put it on the back side of the lens instead of the front, which allows you to still get the effect of the filter without it kind of being in front of the lens, which is really, really cool. I thought that was a really cool feature. Which kind of gives a little bit more functionality to it. I don't know if they make other filters for the backside of this lens. I don't know if that's like a popularized thing or that's something that TT Artisan started. I definitely would like to see that in some more lenses, because I feel like that would be really cool to have, you know, have the filters on the backside of the lens element instead of in the front. Also, because it is a fisheye lens, I feel a little hesitant on if I drop it. I feel like the glass is going to shatter and it's going to render the entire thing useless, but that may not be an issue. I may be just overthinking it. This is the first time I've had a lens like this, so I'm being very extra careful when I'm like setting it down and stuff to make sure that the lens element isn't touching anything, because I don't want it to get scratched up. I don't want it to get dirtied up. I want to protect it as much as possible. That's everything I have to say about this lens. I think it's a really, really good lens. I think that for 170 bucks, you're not going to go wrong with it. I think that it has really good build quality. It has a solid metal build. It has a very solid feel to it. The clicks are really nice, the focus is really nice, and if you're trying to get into wide angles and you're trying to kind of experiment with that style that's very in right now, then TT Artisans is a brand you should definitely check out. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on future videos. I have some other reviews on some really cool products coming soon, so make sure you stick around for those, as well as behind the scenes, tutorials, and anything in between. If you guys don't already follow me on social media, make sure to follow me at Moody Darkroom. That's on my Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, any social media, it's Moody Darkroom. So yeah, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.